Mr. Manager, walk us through the agenda, please.
Thank you. We're out of comms, people. They're all out on busy. So I know we do have some county good news items. I'll email them to you, Commissioner, so you know what's going to be happening in advance. But comms is all tied up right now on assignments. On the agenda, we have two proclamations, one for Purple Heart City recognition for City of Hayesville, and the other.
What does it take for us to become a Purple Heart County? I'd like us to work on that project.
Okay. Let me research that and get that back to you. Then I'm sure there's. I think we not discussed this publicly.
Yeah, we did. We actually have a point of contact. We can. I'll get you the information once again. But yeah, we've started the process. We started a discussion. Just didn't go any further. So we can dust that off and get it restarted again.
Okay. Did that get? Help me out with memory. Did that get assigned to Nicole? Or I mean, I would assume we'd run that through comms.
I think someone from staff, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know who.
We'll let Commissioner.
I do have points of contact though. We can restart that.
We have a couple of pages worth of appointments, two for district advisory board appointments, a couple of township trustee appointments, a food and farm council appointment, and then 5 appointments to the county nuisance appeal board from various commissioners. And then item O is a reappointment of Commissioner Howell and an appointment of Commissioner Lopez to CJCC. Under new business, we have a consideration of a grant in the amount of $1.5 million. I think Brent might want to Brent, can you come up and grab a mic and just talk real high level about what that is? This is for the Eco Diva work we've been doing out in conjunction with City of Amazing and the state. So Brent, can you give me just a high overview of that real quickly?
Sure. This is the application with the KDOT grant, which will support the infrastructure for the road and for the rail spur for the Charlotte Pipe project coming to the Mays Industrial District. So that the action that you will have, Valerie will explain the deal, the incentive proposal, the whole funding stack. And then there will be a representative from Charlotte Pipe here to just give a brief overview of their company and the project that they're proposing. And then your action would be to approve us to apply for the KDOT grant and authorize the funding for the county's grant match, which is $233,000 of $2 million in infrastructure improvements. The other matching funds will come from Watco for $250,000 and Mays for $21,250.
Thank you, Brent.
And the agenda item looked like we were trying to get $1.5 million. I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood our obligation is less than $250,000 of that.
Correct. So yes, the $1.5 million is the amount that's the state's support for the infrastructure, both the rail and the road.
Item Q, both Jason and Jessica will be here in person to give a wrap up of legislative wins and losses and the state of affairs. So they will be here to, they'll have a short presentation and then they'll be available for question and answer.
Did you see the item, Jason puts out some news every day.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some news on a bill that was passed for suicide prevention funding and for aging funding. And I sent you an email with it this morning, which I'm trying to look at it.
Okay.
I was not aware of either one of those things. And if they can help our county, we need to take a look at it.
It really doesn't impact our county. The aging network is a mix of some nonprofits and some local government entities. That bill makes all of them eligible to be tax exempt. Not all of them were. So that's what it does on the aging side. And the suicide funding is primarily for rural communities as well. It's not really going to impact us. We're a little bit ahead of the rest of the state in terms of suicide prevention.
We'll look at it, Commissioner, and you'll have them here on Wednesday to talk to them directly about. I've got Scott to the table on item R. This is the conditional use request for a communications tower. Can you give a real high overview?
Yeah, yes, sir. We do have a briefing scheduled for y'all on Monday. But in terms of a brief update, the MAPC reconsidered this one. They got a briefing on the relevant state statutes and what that has to say about the siting of cell towers. After that, in public input, they voted to recommend approval of the request, and that vote was 13-1.
Okay. And they did have a public hearing once again.
Yes, sir, they did. And it was, there was quite a lot of discussion, and maybe formality at the meeting was a challenge. So trying to keep things in order.
Did they notify the community of this re-hearing?
Our standard practice is when it gets sent back that we notify all the individuals who have expressed interest in the case and provided contact info.
Okay, so when this comes before us Wednesday, do we do another public hearing?
My understanding is that you have the option, and I'll defer to legal on that.
Yeah, I'm not, I think it's optional. I want to just verify what the plan is.
Responsible Assistant County Counselor. Responsible Assistant County Counselor. Realistically, it's not required for you to rehear the item when it comes before you and open it up for public comment. But in general, as part of your meetings, you do have the availability just for general public comment. And so if we're allowing public comment on other things, we shouldn't be disallowing specific comment on this specific item.
Right. Okay.
I don't have a problem with having public comment again. It's just the public needs to understand that we have rules on how our public comment goes. And last time the public didn't comply with any of our rules. They came in late and demanded to speak. They wouldn't stop at the allotted time. So I want to make sure that the public understands that we have a way of listening to public comments, but they need to comply with the way that we listen to public comments rather than decide that they're in charge instead of us.
Again, I think the chair just needs to manage the meeting with a little, clarity on those issues. I think define those up front. So I'm sure that he'll do that. So thank you. Thank you.
Commissioners, item S on the new business is a donation to Aging. I think Aging is going to use it to support community outreach and education. Item T is an island annexation. I know Kirk is here and can come back up. This is my understanding. This is a request of island annexation made by the owner to the city. So that will be item T. Any questions further on that for Kirk? Item U is the consideration of the purchase agreement for the Envision Parking Lot that we commissioners have all been briefed on a number of times. This ends up, this is the contract for the deal, so we can get the land acquired, fence it, and make it available for public safety parking at the public safety building. Then we go to consent. We have a number of easements. There's 5 in total. 3 are temporary. 2 are permanent. Only 1 has fiscal note, and that is item W, which is a temporary easement for a bridge replacement. There's a cost to the county there of $8,301. All the rest of them do not have fiscal notes. Item AA is a resolution establishing speed limits. And I guess I might look to Lynn. This is something we clean up every once in a while and reestablish speed limits in the county. True.
That is correct. In order for the speed limits to be enforceable, we have to have a updated county resolution noting speed limit for each of the unincorporated county roads. And that's what this does. We run it usually at least every other year unless we have notable changes in between.
And while Lynn has the mic, items A, B, and AC are awards or movements financially to help pay our share of the grant match for Mitch Mitchell floodway. Is there any questions on A, B, or AC, both related to the same issue? Item AD is the CIP amendment for the parking lot issue from Envision. Item AE is a ongoing, it is a contract amendment between Senior Center Services and the City of Goddard to the for $6,000 as part of the Tim can extrapolate on this a little bit as part of the Senior Service Agreement of funding to our aging's funding to senior service centers. Anything you want to add to that?
Both AE and AG are really the same agenda type item. That we need to do an adjustment to their budget. So they submit a budget when we fund them. They've identified a need change. We don't change the total amount. We just change the individual line items on both of those.
I looked at AG and I can't tell what to change. The backup material just shows what they want. And I don't know what we're changing. So
Right.
the backup material needs to be a little more detailed.
I can send you some more information on that. They're just internally realigning how they're going to spend those funds. I'll get all of you a table that shows the original and then where we're headed.
Thank you.
And that's AE, correct, Commissioner?
No, the one I was interested in was AG.
Okay,
It lists what it's gonna be, but I don't know what changed.
very good.
We'll get that to you.
AF is a consideration of provider contracts for aging. The list of those contractors is on page 333 if you're backup. It's a total of $125,731, and I think that's grant pass-through money, so not county general fund.
Correct.
Now AG and AHH are CAC issues. We'll get you an answer on AG, Commissioner, on exactly what that amendment is. And AH is their agreement for use of the Sedgwick County Park for their Wichita Gladiator Dash, which I think they do every year. Maybe they didn't do it last year, but they've done it historically before. And then item AI is consideration of grant for annual Bureau of Justice Assistance for State Criminal Alien Assistance Program. I'll try to get you some more detail on that between now and meeting day, unless Tim, do you have any information on that at all?
I believe this is an annual grant that the sheriff receives based on his population. And it's kind of a formula. You guys have approved it before. I've seen it before. And so that's kind of what that is, kind of a standard reimbursement for costs related to inmates that are on hold for ICE or something like that.
We'll get you, I'll have the sheriff get us an update on that. Make sure that's, I believe Rusty
It's
is.
a very big amount of money.
Yeah.
Very small.
Item AJ and AK both deal with ComCare. Item AJ is a piece of good news item. They're hiring enough people now that they are requesting to remove 8 positions off of the hold status so that they can get budget authority to fill those positions. And then they have there's a minor staffing adjustment correction for item AK, some cleanup. I think that is all. For the rest of it is just routine business, check registers, et cetera, that makes up the rest of the agenda. Any other questions, commissioners, that we could finish up for Wednesday?
Anybody down? Commissioner Lopez, anything like that? Commissioner Dennis? I think we have a good handle on the agenda coming up, so.
Very good.
And do we anticipate an executive session?
Do we have executive session?
I haven't had the question yet.
Okay, all right.
No, as of this time.
All right. All right, well, have a great Friday, everyone. See you later.